Hello everyone! So today I wanted to post for you a pregnancy vlog. I haven't done anything like this throughout the pregnancy so far, and I realized that I'm already at 30 weeks, so maybe it's a little bit late to start. But I just wanted to kind of share my experience because I know there's a few other people who expressed an interest in this and who asked me a few questions. And I haven't been talking too much in depth about the pregnancy on the blog, just little bits here and there. So yeah, here we go. So please excuse me if I get out of breath easily during this video. That's one of the symptoms of pregnancy and I'm kind of at that point. So, whew, there I go. This pregnancy has been really interesting because I did have the 3 miscarriages beforehand. And for this pregnancy, I just bled through the whole first trimester. So every single day there would be more bleeding and I kept thinking today's going to be the day that we lose it. And I had several ultrasounds during that first trimester. I think I had 3 total, 3, maybe even 4. And every time they would be like, we can't tell you why you're bleeding. It looks like it has nothing to do with the baby. And then I got this great doctor who's still the one person who's following me and everything. And she looked really closely to the ultrasounds and she found out what the bleeding was from. It had nothing to do with baby. It was all fine. Baby was fine. And that was a big relief. But I probably spent the first half of this pregnancy easily up until 20 weeks, just kind of waiting for it to end. After you've already lost 3 pregnancies and they haven't found a reason for why your body keeps rejecting the pregnancies, you assume that it would be that you might lose the next one. I mean, I think it's a normal thing to feel. I think it's a normal thing to think. And so for me, it was a surprise when this pregnancy ended up working out. For my husband, not so much. He's from the very beginning, from like the first positive pregnancy test, he was just like, this is it, this is the one. And I was like, no, like even the doctors were telling me like, you know, be hopeful but not excited, like that kind of an attitude. But my husband was very like, no, this is it, this is the one. And so far he's right. We're up to 30 weeks now, which is exciting, and she's moving in there. It seems like everything's going well. It's a she, normally, we think. That's what they said when they saw in the ultrasound. They said they were sure, 100% sure it's a girl. But I have a sister-in-law recently who gave birth, and 2 weeks before she gave birth, they told her that they'd made a mistake in identifying the sex. They'd been telling her the whole pregnancy that it was a girl, right up until like 2 weeks before she delivered, and then we're like, oops, there's actually there's an extra little body part there that we didn't see before. So I don't know, now I'm a little bit worried. I'm like, well, what if that happens to me? We've got a lot of girl clothes already purchased, so that would be a problem. So as far as symptoms go, mine have been pretty mild lately. Some people, you know how they get like extreme nausea and they throw up throughout their entire pregnancy just up until the end. I didn't have that. I just had regular nausea, regular wanting to throw up. I only threw up once throughout this whole pregnancy, but I did have extreme fatigue. And not just like, oh, I'm really tired, but it actually felt like I hadn't slept for 2 or 3 days, no matter how much sleep I was getting. And I had like really dark under eye circles. I couldn't function. Like I've cried in public twice because I was just so tired I couldn't keep going. And it really wasn't like there was nothing that set it off. It was just like, I was like, honey, I'm so tired, like I need to go home and sleep. I couldn't. Oh, it was bad. I would go to work in the morning, like drag through work, counting the minutes till it was over. And as soon as I got home, I would prepare my lunch for the next day, eat dinner, and go to bed. And I could sleep for like 10 hours. Like I could sleep for as long as I want. It didn't matter. Even if I had you know, caught up over the weekend on extra sleep and everything, and I still just felt exhausted, which also meant that I had really bad pregnancy brain. And for me, I don't think it had anything to do with the hormones, and I think well, sort of, the fatigue had to do with the hormones. But I think it was because I was so tired. Anybody who hasn't slept for 3 days is going to be a little bit less sharp mentally than they would be otherwise. And that's how I was. I just felt like I hadn't slept for 3 days. It was an exhaustion that was so overwhelming. It was like physically painful. And everyone kept saying, you'll see that'll pass at the end of the first trimester. And my midwife kept saying like, oh yeah, next week it's gonna disappear, you'll see. And then I was like, okay, I'm halfway through my second trimester. Everyone told me the second trimester I was supposed to be feeling great. I'm still feeling awful. And they were like, don't worry, it'll be fine. It turned out I did have an iron deficiency, but I think I also had the symptoms hormonally in addition to the iron deficiency. So starting from about New Year's, so as soon as I got into the third trimester basically, oh, it's all changed. I feel peppy, I've got energy, like I can move. I'm a little bit more out of breath, but I'm happy to be here and I'm awake. You know, it's been such a difference. So for a lot of women, they usually say the second trimester is their favorite. For me, it's definitely my third trimester that's my favorite. By a long shot so far. I haven't gotten to the end yet, and I've been told that towards the end you get tired again, and that you feel huge and you have a hard time breathing and all those fun things. But so far, like this third trimester, that's the one. And also as somebody who's lost several pregnancies, the fact that I can feel the baby often throughout the day, several times a day, that's a huge thing for me, and it's really reassuring. So the third trimester, psychologically, I've been a lot better, and physically as well. So yay for third trimesters. So as far as the differences between being pregnant in France and being pregnant in America, there's only so much I can tell you because I've never been pregnant in America, I've only been pregnant in France. But from what I've heard, like people who've done both experiences, they really appreciate the French experience. So whatever that means, I don't know. I have been treated very well throughout this pregnancy. I've been very well followed. The first few months I had my general doctor and I had a midwife that were taking care of me. And the midwife, she's just great. And then starting around the 6th month, I started being followed by an OBGYN who was also the same person who'd been doing my ultrasounds throughout the pregnancy. And she's brilliant. You're not allowed legally in France to mention like names of doctors or anything, but if you're in Lyon, you're pregnant and you're wanting to know the name of a good doctor to be followed by, you just send me a little private message and I will let you know who that is. But yeah, I've been really well followed throughout this pregnancy and I'm very grateful for that. It's just been awesome so far. I've also started birthing classes. Those are fun. So two of the main differences for me being pregnant in France versus the US is that the recommended weight gain is different. In France, they want you to gain between, let's see, I've written this down, between 9 and 12 kilograms, which is between 20 and 26 pounds. So like your maximum is 26 pounds if you're at a healthy weight before you get pregnant. And then in the US, they tell you to gain between 25 and 35 pounds if you're at a healthy weight before you get pregnant, which for me, that's a big difference. The second big difference is that in America, you are pregnant for 40 weeks. That's when your due date comes, is after 40 weeks. But in France, it's 41 weeks after your missed period. And I don't know how it works at all of the hospitals, but I know at the hospital where I'm delivering, they will not even consider an induction, except for, of course, for medical emergencies, but they won't consider inducing you until you've gone at least 42 weeks. And I know a lot of people in America who have gotten to 40 weeks and 2 days, and then their doctor's like, you need to get induced, we need to get the baby out of there. Whereas in France, there would be no panic, because it's like your due date's not even for 5 more days. So calm down. My French due date is April 4th. I haven't looked at a calendar to see what my American due date would be, and I don't really want to, because I'm afraid I'll be a little bit disappointed if I see that I'm going way past when I could have delivered, if that makes sense. So, alright, I'm running out of battery, so I'm gonna have to cut this short. Please subscribe, click thumbs up. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments below. You can comment on YouTube or you can comment on my blog, wherever you're watching this from. And then that way, next week, I'll answer a few of the questions when I update you. And yes, thank you. Have a lovely day.